Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome to the session, the School Directory Management Portal, and what's new for 2024. I'm not sure if any of you have been out there yet, but what's new is the entire application, which was deployed probably about 2 weeks ago by Mike, which is our product owner for the enterprise team, and his team does all the development work on School Directory. I also have Kina here, and Kina is our technical writer that's done a wonderful job of documenting the whole system and doing brand new user guides, which are on the web and shown on the on. And my name is Carrie Tenley, and I am the admin. I'm the DPI admin that manages all the data, validates the data, works with these two on the whole school record, which isn't just the management portal. So I was just wondering, are all of you new to School Directory, or who's new to School Directory here? Never done it before? Oh, quite a few of you, okay. You all, others have, either you are admins already in School Directory, or you're just here? And then how many private schools? Thank you. So just to go over this session, it's only an hour long, and there's probably a lot more that we could talk to and train you on, but I'm going to try and give you at least an overview of School Directory and a brief history. The next section I'm going to go to is where the School Directory data is used. Why that's so important? Because that's why you guys are doing this job. That's why you're going into School Directory and updating this data. And I think it's really important that you know what you're impacting, where your data that you're putting in is going. Then I'm going to step into and give you an overview of the portal, the management portal, which is what all the admins go into. And then Kina's going to step up and she's going to give you a demo. We have demo down here. It's probably, but both these two above them are demos. She's going to give you a demo of where to go, the new user guides that she's created, and where to go to, if you need to get help on those. Lastly, we'll have questions and answers, or we'll take any feedback too, because Mike's here to listen. Mike's here to listen to you and see what maybe you have suggestions for us, or it might make things easier. So for the overview, the School Directory really has two portals. We have the management portal, which you all, I'm assuming, are going to be School Directory update people. That's where you manage your data. On the other side of it, we have the School Directory public portal. That's where the public can access your data, and they can query schools and download stuff and get a really good idea of what our public and private schools look like. So those are the two main portals. The other portal that we have is the one that I go into. It's the DPI admin portal, and you don't need to worry about that. That's my stuff. This is what the public goes to and the public sees. They're able to search by school district, they're able to search by public schools, they're able to search private schools, and they're also able to download contacts. Oops. Sorry about that. Yeah, it actually was a link. Oh, so I'm gonna click down here. So just a little bit of background on the public portal. It's a searchable collection. We rolled it out maybe about a year ago. We rolled out the public version of it. It's a searchable collection of all the Wisconsin private school and public school data. It can be accessed by anyone. It doesn't require a login. The general public can go in to do it anytime. One of the things we focused on was the quick search features, using intuitive keywords to look things up. And it has comprehensive school profiles. We've got maps out there. This links to our GIS system where people can get data from the GIS maps. All that data kind of flows through a bunch of different applications. So just the highlights of the public portal, when we rolled it out, these were some of the key features, was having, like I said, interactive maps, mobile friendly, links to GIS maps, links to local resources, information icons, contact lists, school lists, portable data, exportable data, and enhanced filters. So after we rolled that public portal out, we kind of created the management portal, keeping the same concepts and the same look. So that's what this slide says, is that the management portal was kind of created to complement the public portal, keeping the same looks, the same kind of consistency. We focused on full functionality at launch, but everyone knows that that's usually kind of hard until we get user feedback, which is your all's feedback that we've been getting. Quite a few feedback on things we need to fix or improve, and we welcome that. So, and then with the management portal for this whole next year, you can probably still expect some upgrades and some fixes and some changes to it. And again, we appreciate your feedback. Any suggestions, please send them our way. So, you haven't logged into it already? This is what the new management portal looks like. It's a lot different. It has tiles. Yeah, I look at it as being a little bit more dashboard type feel to it versus just the list. And hopefully we can expand upon that, maybe give you guys some feedback, what needs to be done, or if there's any errors. But it looks a lot different than the legacy one, where, like I said, we have lists, we have more tiles that you need to drill into. So for anybody that are new here to school directory, I'm not. I've been around for a while. I've been at DPI for a while. And when I started, we had paper forms. We would print out these paper forms and we would mail them to the districts, to the private schools with information. They would cross out the information, they would put them in, fold them up, put them in the mail and send them back to us. And then we would take these paper forms and we would manually enter it out. It was a long process and very little, it's kind of like a point in time, because we mailed it to you. There was no live updates or real-time updates. It was once a year we would mail these forms, you would correct your data and you would send it back to us and we would type that in. I remember doing that too. We'd take up the 3 folds, 1, 2, 3 fold, and we had to stuff them in all the envelopes. It was a lot of work. Other thing about the history was we had this, and it's not that old, 1990. So then from the data, we would print out individual PDFs. We would take those PDFs and we would send them all to our team. They would correct them. They'd send them back to us. We go into the system one more time and make any edits. Then we send this to publications, and this is our school director. And then people would buy our school directory just like a phone book, and that's what they would have for the year. Now being online, everything that you do is overnight shows up, and it's not a hard copy printed out once a year. And people can go in there and use the data, just more current, obviously more current data. And we don't do this anymore. We're not printing out the hard copy book anymore. So now that I said that, now that I said, here's where we were, here's where we are today. Why is what you do so important? And why what you do is so important is because who uses this data? Again, it's all online. The new public portal is all online. They can look, updates are overnight. So it's flexible, it's searchable. Got a lot of information. There are a lot more fields than we used to show. We used to show about 20 fields. And we got legislative districts now, we got maps, we got conferences, everything's there available to the public. But with that said, there's ownership of the data that we all hold to make sure that that data is accurate. So just to give you some statistics on how important your data entry and making sure everything is right. When we rolled this out, we did a little thing. Just, to keep track of who's on that public portal. We had 17,000 users come into our public portal and use their data. We've had a total of almost 200,000 page views from users. And again, we have the average users and we show like the page views per day, per week, weekdays. And it's a lot. There's a lot of people using your data. So it's important. Their data is important. We have a lot of different organizations that go in and use your data. It's not just put out there once. It's daily. Daily people use this. So here's some of the data requests I get. Just to give you an idea of some of the stuff out there, that sometimes there's not all the data is available in the download. So then they send me a data request. But we have people from the Wisconsin immunization program that uses your data. We have the Department of Health Services that come in and need to know this school data, and we give them downloads of the stuff you've provided to us. UW-Madison, the rest of the list of high schools that taught French class. This is Johanna, that's a yearly one. They need to know from Dun and Bradstreet, all the schools that open and close. And then just this last one was interesting too, because they needed it for a food service contract. They come out there and they download all the school data information and use it. So you've seen like some of the public users go in there quite a bit. Some of the specialized data requests come from all over, from Dun & Bradstreet to immunizations. So I think the last one I had on here too was, I had like even a French class, a person in a French class was doing some type of thing. So they went out and they wanted to download all the schools for some different reason. Another big reason is all the data that you put in there. We, the state of Wisconsin, send up files to the U.S. Department of Education. That's our responsibility, to gather all the district data and send it up to the U.S. Department of Ed, because they have a website where they publish all school data. They get that from us. They get that from you guys putting in your data. There's over 80 different files, our EdFacts files, that your school data gets used, that we send up to the U.S. Department of Education. So if you ever went out to the U.S. Department of Education's website, you would see your school data out there that comes from you. So besides the federal government using all our school data and sending up files, 80 of them, all of our systems at DPI use your school data that you put in there. That goes into our WISE ID, it goes into our finance systems, it goes into our WIGRS grant systems. It is the source of all school data that goes into all the other systems up to the U.S. Department of Ed and then shows publicly. So you're important. You all are important. Your data is important, very important. It's the core of most of all of our systems, is starting with schools and districts and their data. That's where we start. So before I demo the new school director management portal, were there any questions on what I've presented so far in regards to some of like where the data is used, how important it is, some of the new enhancements? Okay. Let me just refresh this real quick. We need to refresh it. So I'm in the UAT environment right now to show you the new portal. So once you get your access to the new portal, it should just come up to the school that you have access for. Mine's a little bit different. I can like drop down at any school, but we'll stick with Abbotsford right now. So this is what the new homepage looks like. And I just would say, I didn't have time to do it yet, but what I'd like to do maybe within the next month or two is come up with a checklist so that you can kind of just download a checklist to make sure you completed everything and caught everything. But the first one here you want to look at, and it says manage, we're going to probably change that to view, is the basic information. You're going to log into your district, or if you're a private school, it's going to show you private school, you're going to want to come out here and click on manage because there's a lot of data behind that tile. So you're going to see the school district information. You're going to see you can't edit this, but we really need you to still review it. When it comes to your names, your school district name, whether it's your legal name, names are something where you want to put a help ticket into me, and then I can go ahead and change this information. The low grade and high grade, that is already populated because it's looking at all your schools, and it's going to come up with a low grade, high grade based upon what you've entered for your schools. And again, this is the district level data. One of the big changes that we did this year is for PK. So somewhere along the line, someone decided, probably because we needed to do student counts, that PK was going to be put in the middle of our grades. PK is not a grade. Pre-kindergarten is not a grade. It is an educational service. So with them putting PK in the grades, that was very confusing, and it was very hard to get a high and low grade. If you had kindergarten, but you also had PK, then PK would show as your low grade, which really wasn't. So we pulled that out this year. We pulled PK, we're calling it, it's an educational service. That's what it is. It's not a grade. It's not in state statutes as being a grade. So it is an educational service. So we have this new radio button to say, does this school or does your district offer pre-kindergarten services? And that needs to be checked yes or no. I think Mike's team did a great job this year of trying to default and guessing, like based upon what we had. But because PK was stuck between K4 and KG, we really don't know. If you just had K4 through 12 and you had PK or not PK, we defaulted it to yes, but you really need to go in and take a look at that. If that school does not offer PK, no. Yes. K4 is a grade. PK is students with IEPs. It's an educational service with students with IEPs. I know Kenya's done some fantastic documentation on what that is. So I'm gonna just go ahead. Yeah, I'll let you talk to that one.
Good. Hello. Okay. So the reason that we eliminated PK was we referred to the state statutes. The statutes are what define grades for the state of Wisconsin. And the statutes start defining grades at 4-year-old kindergarten. When PK was lumped into the school directory, it was done during years that definitely preceded my my days as a staff member at DPI. But someone at some point decided, hey, wouldn't it be nice if we collected this data on PK for private schools? And that was never a state statute delineated data. According to the DPI, that data should be invalid. We don't need that from you. And we have so much data coming in. We really only need to collect what the state statutes tell us we need to collect, because your time is valuable, our time is valuable. And if you're sending us data that we don't need because it doesn't go to any collection or report, then why are you spending your time doing that for us? We don't want you spinning your wheels in the mud. So then when K3 became a program that was primarily made by Milwaukee Public School District, which is like the largest district in the state, because there are some students in the MPS K3 programs that have IEPs, there was a misunderstanding that all kids in a K3 program needed to get reported. And that got muddy as well. And so what we really did, since we were making this like a fresh start with the whole application, we decided to try to clean up the data about what was reported. And this, we felt like it was a hand in glove opportunity to say, you know what, we were collecting stuff that we didn't need. Nobody knows where it's going. We're not collecting your data cleanly. We're not spending your time wisely. Let's just, take the dirty socks off and not wear them anymore. And they got holes in them. So we're just going to throw them in the bin and we're going to collect clean data. So that was really the impetus behind it. We found something that kind of never should have been done and we're undoing that. Does that help? Grades start at K4. Yes, ma'am.
They start at K4. For public schools, they start at K4 through 12. Those are grades. PK, if you offer that service, please check yes, because we still count students for PK. To make it even more confusing for private schools, this is for private schools, PK was defined differently. It wasn't students with an IEP. It was just any student that's under grade K4 got reported as PK, which was crazy to the public. The public didn't understand, like, okay, well, you gotta really think about if you're looking at a public school, then PK means this. If you're looking at a private school, then PK means this. So we just say for private schools, all we need to collect is K4 through 12. We're not gonna do any more than that. The PK grade level's been eliminated. And like Kenya had said, for public schools, we've moved it out that PK is now an educational service, which is what it always has been and should be. It's not a grade level. And K3, that grade level has been eliminated. We're not going to collect K3 anymore. So that's some of the bigger changes. So for PK, we're still going to call it an educational service. Is right here. You check it. Yes, you're still going to report your accounts, your student counts through WISE data. That shouldn't have changed much, the way you report that. It's just really more visually. Okay, so for the PI 1207, that's the private school report, right? We are not going to have a PK grade level anymore. You're going to see K4 through 12. You're going to see K through 4 through 12. Okay, so that's not changed. Okay, again, the fact that we're still reporting PK to you, licensed teacher, that hasn't changed. What we changed is we're not calling it grade, because it never was a grade. It's an educational service. Nothing else that you still report that they're. Yep. It's just PK for educational service. And it involves students with IEPs, and nothing else has changed. It's just the concept that it's not a grade. It's not a grade. It's not a grade. It's educational service. It's never been a grade. It just got lumped in there. So we tried to clean that up. Yes. So do you have the?
Yes.
I'm gonna have her read you the exact definition, because we went through this a few times too.
Did. Right. So in order for you to check yes on does your agency offer PK services, all of the following criteria have to equal yes. Is the student below compulsory age? Compulsory age is 6. So is the student 5 or 4 or 3? DPI doesn't collect data on students younger than 3. That's a different state agency. Now, if you're talking membership, that's a whole different bag of beans, and you need to take your questions to the school finance team. So if they're just talking WISE data, then if they're 3 years old, 4 years old, or 5 years old, yes. They're not in 4-year-old kindergarten and they're not in 5-year-old kindergarten. Yes, still good. Do they have an IEP? Yes. And are they coming to your school to get services for that IEP? When you can answer yes to all 4 of those things, you offer PK. And hopefully we have that listed here on the definition. It's not listed in like a bullet point list. It's just a sentence to save space, but you have to answer yes to all of those criteria.
Okay, so then lastly, we have this little bucket down here that once you choose your high and low grade, that these should populate. And it's just a little list. It's kind of, you have to expand it, but it's a little list of all the grades that your school offers. Now, to get back where I was, the best way to do that I found in this new application is to follow the breadcrumbs up here. Back to home. That's what works the best. So what we're looking at right now is the district level. If you're a private school, it would just be your private school that would show up here. These staff contacts, I'm gonna have Mike get a little bit more specific with that, but it's not gonna be a priority, but I would like it to say district staff contacts instead of just staff contacts, so that everyone knows that these are really the staff contacts at the district level or at the school level, or some private schools have systems that would be like more at the system level. Again, you click on the staff contacts to manage that. And really cool, mandatory contacts are up on top. These are the ones that people say we have to have these contacts. Again, this year, I'd like to expand on that, talk to these teams, find out why do you guys need to put in a homeless liaison and give you that feedback that this team is requiring a homeless liaison because of this. It's on my to-do list. These are mandatory, so you cannot delete them. They will not let you, the system will not let you delete this. If this person is not right, the right person, you need to click on edit and put in a new person's name. You can't just delete it and then put it in a new person's name. These contacts stay out there and you just have to go in and edit them. Your other contacts, the ones that aren't mandatory at this level, are down here and you can delete them and put in new information. And those screens don't look much different than the prior screens. If I clicked on that, they look real similar with what the information that we put in. Just a little bit more organized and not so down in a row. And again, make sure you use the breadcrumbs up here. That seems to work the best. Don't make a layer out of it. So next on the list, and again, this is all district level stuff, or it's all, if you're a private school, it's all gonna be your school level stuff. This is your address and contact information for the district. Again, it shows you some of the stuff here, but it doesn't show you all of it. So make sure you click on this edit button and you go in and you go ahead and make the changes in here. Again, if you have a different mailing address or if you have a different shipping address, then uncheck those and make sure you put in your mailing address or your shipping address. Next, what you want to do is this kindergarten schedule. That's nothing new. That's required not by private schools, but it's required by the public schools to do the kindergarten schedule. We do publish this data out there. The form is real similar to the old form, a little bit different. Sherry Kimball is the expert in that area. So if you have questions, send them to me. I can send them to Sherry and she can she can take a look at some of the questions for the kindergarten schedule. But she's offered a lot more different combinations and a little bit, she said she was kind of updating it to what she sees out there currently, because we haven't updated that for a while. The next thing you're going to want to go into is your public schools. These are all your schools to manage your public schools. And you're going to see a list like this. And again, it's got more of a dashboard-ish feel to see if you certified it, if it's updated or not. But you can drill into each school here. And again, the pages look the same. Here's your basic information about this school. If you need to change any of this basic information, like the school name, you're going to want to send a help ticket to me. But there's some things you can change. You can change the school type. You can change your virtual status. You can select your high and low grade, and you can select again if the school offers PK. And then lastly, what we ask you do at the district level is to go through and identify any private schools that are in your district that you think might have closed. So a lot of times we'll have private schools that close. We really don't know unless they reach out to us, but sometimes the district knows a little bit more than we do. And you can just give us some feedback on this private school form saying, we know this private school is closed. That's really all it does. It's not going to close the school. It's just going to say, hey, Carrie, check out this school, see if it's closed because it's in our district. And we think that this private school is closed. So just to go back a little bit, and then we can pull up a private school and I can show you what that looks like. So there's a private school here, people here. So again, it's real similar to the way it looked for the public school districts. You have your basic information that you can go in here and manage. Low grade, high grade, again, you're gonna only be able to go to, you're not gonna see PK anymore. You're gonna see the low grade is gonna be K4, high grade would be 12. These grades offered are populated based upon what you put in up here. Again, if you need to change any of this other information, county, virtual, school type, contact me, send me a help ticket. I'm the one who manages all this data, and I'll go and change that and let you know when that's done. Again, your staff contacts for your private school, make sure those are updated. Your address and contact information for your private school, make sure you go in and click on that and manage this. Manage your data. Most importantly for private schools, when you're talking about your contacts would be your primary contact for your private school. Because when we do mailings and we notify you like it's 1207, that is who we send it to, the primary contact of the private school, even though there's more contacts underneath here, maybe. Or you can add more contacts. The primary contact for the private school would be the main person that we send a lot of our communications to. Okay, so your mailing preferences, we gotta fine tune this, but essentially what the mailing preferences were for private schools was, do you want to be able to download your contact data? Because a lot of private schools, people had their personal email addresses. They didn't have school email. It was a personal email address. So we had this option in the old system where it's like, okay, you can opt out of those mailings, and when they download the file, we won't give your personal email out. I think we still have to work on getting this fine tuned in the new system, but essentially that's what that meant. If you don't want to be on any vendor mailings, and we really have to change that now, because we're talking vendor mailings now, we're talking downloads, that people can go out there on the website right now and see your information. So my best bet to tell you private school right now is don't put your personal email address out there if you don't want the world to see it, because it's going to be published right now online. Until we can fine tune this a little bit more and remove maybe the email addresses or whatnot, you don't want to be putting that out there. The other mailing preferences is if you don't want any DPI mailings, and that works, but not for all of them. There's some DPI mailings that the team say we're sending this anyways because it's important and you need to know this. So even if you opt out of DPI mailings, you probably still get some. Looking forward, we want to hopefully maybe this year, next year, start working on it this year. So we'll be adding the PI 1207 out here. We're gonna be adding the PI 1207. It's gonna be integrated with school directory. It's gonna be another tile out here, and we can give you status notifications when it, if it's please this, do this, so the carrier doesn't have to call, say, please do this, but you'll be getting status notifications out here too. That's one thing Mike has done a great job of, is like, you can submit now that you completed your review so that we know who has completed it, if someone has actually gone in and reviewed the data. So that's kind of my demo. And I know Keena's gonna come on and she's gonna demo the awesome user guides. She spent so many hours creating and gotten done fast. But with that said, I just kind of wanted to talk about timeline a little bit. So when right now we have these school years, 2024, 20, I'm sorry, go ahead. We already have an online version of the PI 1207. Oh, I don't do that. Yeah, I'm sorry. Okay. Um, good. So just thinking a timeline here, I told you we had the public portal. So the public portal's timeline is on school year. So from July 1st, 2023 to June 30th, 2024, they're gonna see that school year on the public portal. When July 1st rolls around, all of a sudden the year is gonna change for them. Public people are gonna be able to see the 2024, 2025 school year. and any updates you all have made. Now, I know a lot of people wait till school starts to make their updates, but heads up, the public is gonna see what your school looks like as of July 1st for the next school year. So whatever things you can know, I would say put that in right away. When it comes to the management portal where you put in your data, that's a little different timeline. That goes from, we just opened it up in February, right? So right now, that management portal is set to the 2024-2025 school year for you to make updates. Not that's gonna show publicly till July 1st, but right now you can go in and start making all your updates. You can start putting in a school modification form for requesting new schools get opened up right now. And the public's not gonna see that until July 1st. But whatever, so try not to wait till the school year, because people, like I just showed you how many people use this data. So, yeah, if you can get it done before July 1st, great. Sometimes people don't know who's coming on board. We haven't hired somebody. You know, you might want to just take off that contact and say maybe it's vacant or by somebody else, whatever, but it, just heads up, July 1st is when the public portal will show the new data. One other key date is the PI 1207 that opens up and it's due October 15th. For choice schools, it's due a little bit later because they have an audit to do. It's due December 15th. Try and keep to that timeline. If you do not report the PI 1207, then we do mark the school as being inactive. And I think that's really, the school director really doesn't have many, it's open all the time for you guys to make changes to it. Like I said, just the biggest part is that you know now that the management portal, you can go in there, it should show. One thing I want to say is names. Names are a little different. I don't know why they did this, but WISE data takes the most current name. So if you want to update your school name right now, it's going to show for the entire school year. They didn't wrap time. They didn't wrap school year time around that process. They just said, just give us the most current name and that's what we're going to show. So when it comes to school names, I say, wait till the end of your school year. Maybe we wait, give me a date. I don't want to change this until July something, because if we change, like if I went in and changed the school name right now, it would show for the whole 2023-24 school year in WISE data, even though the effective date's today. So I usually wait till the end of the school year. That was probably about the only little timelines we had. So are there any questions on that?
All right, so I created 6 different user guides because there's 6 different agency types that can log in to the school directory management portal. There's public school districts. The independent charter school district is basically a mirror copy with the slightest differences, so they share the same icon. I try to use a different icon for each agency so that you had like a visual cue to lock into. There's private schools, county children with disabilities education boards, or county CDEBs or CCDEBs. CISAs can now access the management portal of school directory, and then state agencies like the Department of Health Services, Department of Family Services, Department of Corrections. So I'm going to open the private school user guide just because that's the last school type that Carrie was demoing. And each of the user guides has the same format. You're going to see this introduction paragraph, a link to the user guide, and a link to the help ticket. So if I click the link to the user guide, all of the user guides have been created using this accordion widget. And the reason I've done that is because they are so long. If you had to scroll your mouse, you'd like get a sore fingy, okay? It's not fun. So the accordions are great in that they keep the screen a little bit cleaner and they keep all the information in there that you need. However, if you are a person who likes to use Control F to find something, like say you're looking for mailing address and you type in the word mailing. Okay, so it's highlighting in orange the word mailing on that tab and nothing else. This is the biggest drawback of accordions. They can only search what they can see. So if I want to know if mailing address shows up anywhere else, I have to open this tab and then click enter again? Nope, there's still only one. Okay, so there's nothing there. What if I open this tab and I click enter again? Nope, nothing mailing in there. Okay, I'm gonna open this tab. Mailing, yes. Oh, okay. So you have to do a little bit of manual working to get the full search results from a control F. But at least it narrows your focus, right? And then you're like, okay, I'm in this tab, and each tab on the accordion directly relates to a tile on the school directory management portal. So in that mailing address, Carrie was mentioning how private schools need to list their mailing preferences. If I go to that tab, I can see there's a screenshot of what that tile looks like on the school directory management portal landing screen. I give a brief description of what it is and why we need that information. Remind the users if it's agency level or if it is school level. Now, if it's a private school, more than likely those are the same thing because your school is your entire agency. But if you're a public school district, then you are an agency with, you know, dozens of schools or whatever. So agency level versus building level information. And then I tried to make sure that you knew what was editable and what isn't editable, and anything that you cannot edit yourself. If you need to change it, send us that help ticket. And if you need to do that, you just scroll right back to the top of the page, go to the help ticket. I need a help ticket. Boom, there you go. But I don't need a help ticket right now. So if I am looking at my mailing preferences, there are options, yes or no. If you want to be included in miscellaneous DPI mailings, if you select yes, it means this. If you select no, it means this. If you want to be included in vendor-generated mailings, if you select yes, it means this. If you select no, it means this. So that's one of the reasons why the user guides are using the accordions, because I went down to that data element level of each part. Each element of the user guide is spelled out because it's so brand new, and I wanted to make sure that all of your bases were covered, and that does make it feel a bit overwhelming. But I think once you get in, it's not going to be that bad. Once you get through all of your tiles, you've updated everything, you'd followed your checklists. You're going to go back to that home screen, and that's how Carrie was demonstrating that when you're in the management portal. Can you get that? Why does Microsoft put this thing right over the thing that I want to click? Stop it. But I want it there. Ha ha ha. Okay. So if you're following these breadcrumbs, say you've clicked, right? It's the management portal. So anything that you need to edit, you need to manage. I like that. So you click that little edit button. Now you're on the mailing preferences screen. You have to decide if you're going to click yes or no, yes or no. That's where you can reference the user guide in a second tab right next to the directory and kind of follow through that checklist. You save your changes, and then you use the breadcrumbs to go back home. Back on that home screen, there's going to be this submit review. It's listed right at the top, and you might be tempted to be like, yeah, we didn't change anything. Click that submit review. Don't do it until the very end. It's the very, very last thing. The submit review button is the cherry on the sundae. So make sure that that's the last item that you do, because when you click that submit review button, it means that you have gone through each and every tile. You have checked every contact name. You have verified that the information that you're providing for these dozens of reports that Carrie just explained, thousands of people access daily, that the information you're giving them represents your agency accurately. That's the goal, is for you guys to give us that clean data so that when folks want to contact you, they can, and they get right where they need to be. And speaking of the checklist that Carrie mentioned, I'm going to switch to the public school user guide. So it's the same format. They have more information though. When you're in a screen for the public schools tile, as you go through the user guide, there's screenshots there that will help you align with where you are located in the school directory management portal. And then I made this repeated icon to help you know whenever you see this little section, to do, what needs to be managed. This is as close as we can get you right now to that checklist that we eventually want to link at the very tippy top of the user guide so that you can print it out either as a CSV file. And that way you can kind of, you know, go tick, 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 tick. Maybe you update your CSV file first, and then you just copy and paste that into your school directory management portal, or it might be a Word document, or however we end up providing that for you. We have this in the meantime. So anytime you see this little pencil icon and the block of text that says to do, that's something that you need to check. And then it's usually ended with, you know, click the save button, because this does not have an auto save. So if you make changes and you don't click save, it's going to revert back to the old content. So I know it's tricky. You know, Google was a game changer making that auto save, and then Microsoft finally caught up. Well, we're not quite there yet. So please click the save button. That is all I have, unless you want me to demonstrate something more or something specific. Otherwise, we can field any questions that you might have. Yes, ma'am. It would be sufficient at that time. And then we hope that as staffing changes, as you know, other changes occur in your agency, that you keep that updated as best as you can until December, when the school directory closes, because we take a snapshot, so to speak, right? So yeah, so starting from whenever the directory opens in January, keep making updates continuously throughout the school year so that your snapshot data is as accurate as it can be at that time.
Yeah, it's, the school directory is not like a data collection where we have this deadline. It's open all the time. And you can make direct, that's like what Katie said. The time it does close is when we send out that little notification, which is usually at the end of December. It's gonna be January this year, and hey, we're closing it down. Make all your last minute changes, because what we're gonna do there is close it down for a month. We're gonna do a whole bunch of validation checks. We're gonna do a whole bunch of stuff. And then we roll our entire database over to the new year. Copy all your data from last year to the new year, and so you got something to start with. But that's when it's too late to make any changes for the prior year, without going through our development team and having them report to the database level and the updates.
Yeah.
So, which we can do. We really appreciate it if y'all was able to just get everything finalized by December.
Yeah, it's almost 7. This past year, we had this student was enrolled in her school, conducting first day school, not said, I really like my son to wait and another month when we actually, I don't know if it's to be something. Okay, fine. So I filled in, yeah, it's level 7. I did, I think I included him because he was enrolled, but it didn't start until I left the private house. The choice I understand. You really should be included in that PA photo set, possible if they're finding like, okay, so things that. So my question there is, are we supposed to be making changes throughout the year to the PI photo set, or is that one and done based on that initial start of school?
Correct. It is, the PI 7 is a little bit different, where the deadline is technically December 15th, that we need all the changes and corrections in the system, okay? And then we are getting more strict with that. I'll do outreach till the 30th. Until we shut the system down, I will do outreach and say, please put your information in, but we got more strict with, I see the 15th passed, I've done outreach and tried to contact people, no one's done anything, we shut it down. If you don't update your data by that point in time, then we move your school being inactive, and then you're not eligible for funding for next year until you complete it again. So, yeah, by the By December 15th, we hope everyone has got their PI 1207 finished. And like I said, maybe put those corrections based upon the audit. That's why we leave it open till October 15th, is to make those type of corrections based upon the audit. So you're welcome to do it, make corrections. And we really hope everyone gets theirs done by the 15th, and then definitely has to be done by the time Carrie does outreach. And then that's it, and that's the last chance.
So you said that, is the student also engaged for the or
Yeah.
if they're less than that, yes.
Private schools don't have to report PK.
Oh, we don't.
No, just K4 through 12.
Okay, so regardless of whether those questions are answered at all, it doesn't matter for private school.
Yeah, but you're not gonna see those out there. If you do, let me know, because you're not supposed to. You're just supposed to see grade K4 through 12, report your total enrollment. We used to have it separated by gender. That's still not one thing we are looking forward to doing, may possibly doing, is we might collect, because we're doing a lot of different school type setups for private schools. We might have to collect out-of-state students, out-of-country students. You might see next year, students that are enrolled in your school. If you have out-of-state students, but they're in the United States, or if you have students that are enrolled that are overseas. We might be breaking it down, that, but we want the changes to see it out there in regards to enrollment, but it would always be K4 through 12.
Okay, so on the private school, you should not see those questions.
Nope.
Correct. Correct.
Nope, K, you're not gonna have a PK grade level anymore, because again, that was not even used for writing, it was used. PK for private schools, but a kid that's under 4 years old, doesn't matter if they had IEP or anything.
Right.
So we had two different definitions for the same code. Depending on if you're a public school or private school, which was very confusing to the public.
This may be something you need to sort of about the school stuff, like basically all of our schools in there. On the, it's the first of all, the street, well, school that says everything's not started, as if there's no data. Like, the school, excuse me, when everything is there. Is that or is that something maybe meets our districts?
Let's see, are you,
I think maybe the not starting is not, maybe not, right, it's just not being used. Maybe-
How do I view it then?
Like looking at it.
It should be like.
I think if you save your page, even the first time, one of the pages, then that'll indicate that you've started. But,
We'll get more clear.
yeah, but I think that is really clear. I'll think about that. My money's.
That's great feedback.
Yeah.
Because that's what we're looking for. It's like, you work at an app and you're developing it. It's like, oh, it's totally clear to us, and then.
Right.
And then people look at it like, what are you talking about? So that's perfect type of feedback that we like, and we'll take a look at those and get clarification or maybe change what they mean, So please send us. Do you have a feedback?
I was just gonna give you a strategy for how to provide us with feedback.
Yeah, please.
If you have the school directory portal, school directory management portal user guides page open, at the very bottom of that page, oh, you're kidding me. There's supposed to be a submit feedback button. Golly, can you jot that on my paper that I need to put a submit feedback button on that page? So if we go to the school directory annual required updates page, please be there. What? Where are all my feedback buttons? There's supposed to be a big purple obvious feedback button on the bottom of these pages. And what I would recommend, I have to show you a page now that does have one because I feel like I'm a liar. Sorry. Okay, so if I'm on Wise Data, there it is. Ta-da. So that button is supposed to be on the bottom of every single one of my pages. And if you are on your user guide for public school, go to the bottom of that public school user guide page, click this button, because then it'll generate an email that comes right to my inbox. I love answering submit feedback buttons. They are so helpful. They're so random and weird, but sometimes they're super helpful. So when you click it, the button from the bottom of the page, it sends me the URL for that specific page. And that helps me get an answer to you more quickly. Otherwise, I'll just email you and we can chit chat back and forth that way. There is another way to submit feedback. If you are just on any DPI page and you go to the search bar and you type in the words submit feedback, you will get the general submit feedback form, but it won't link to any specific page. It will just link to the URL for this generic page. And then there's no indication on this general form that says, please include the URL of the page that you were, referencing. And so then again, it requires a little bit more communication between you and I. I'm super happy to help. So anything that you can give me that says, this is confusing, this is great, do more of this, or you forgot this thing, or you misspelled this word. I've gotten those emails. So just let me know.
So right now, yeah, we understand that, and I think on our pages, our educational options, we say go to the district web's page to see what they offer. But I can see where those grades that are under K4, okay? We might want to capture that at some point in time. We kind of got that on my back burner. It's like maybe after we get through this year, it's a little bit more landed, that we do even for private schools, ask that question. Do you offer daycare or childcare? Do you offer any other educational services or educational options? Below the grade levels. I can see it. For this year, it's not gonna be there. But yeah, that'd probably be kind of nice because we had a lot of comments when we did that feedback on whether we're gonna eliminate K3, that it would be nice if we could maybe have a checkbox on some of the other ones. Not necessarily required, but if you want to offer that, because when people search out there, it's kind of nice to have a one-stop shop that shows you do have childcare, you do have some of these other programs.
Right. Otherwise, it just emphasizes the importance of updating your contacts, because those contacts get posted on the school directory public portal, and then they can just reach out and contact you and ask you that directly via email or phone call or whatever. Right. I was thinking the closest way that we do ask the question that you asked about was, do we offer childcare? It is in this 4K screen. So what we're collecting is whether you offer it versus students served, right? We're clicking the buttons that represent what we offer. Some kids might get their service that way, some kids might not, but we do offer it. So if you have it, that's what you click.
Right, so like this is just, K4, and I think too, we do have that need for students that are not 4-year-olds, under 4-year-olds, that we do have some daycares and stuff out there. This information too gets published on our website, what you asked for on here, that they can download it by district and Excel spreadsheet. And I think Mike is gonna incorporate the report right into school directory so that people can find that. But it'd be nice to have it right on your public portal, right on your district overview, what you offer. And yeah, we collect these settings for K4, but we don't collect any settings below K4, which we know that they're all there. We know that they're all there. That's the K3. That answer your question?
Yeah, I just wanted to make sure. That you had to have a correlation, all of the days and the date here, because it's obviously on the breakdown.
Right, right.
Right.
I do have another question, regarding the 4K program. So we offer on Monday, Wednesday, in music class, and then every other Friday.
Yeah.
So the options are the full days, which we are, but it would only be technically it's a 2-day a week, but it's every other Fridays. I don't know which one's closer.
Does that full day, 2 days per week?
So, yeah, so there's full day, 2 days a week, or there's 5 half days. I'm not sure if it would be of benefit to you to check through the hours that are aligned with each, well, they all seem to be 87.5. Got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yes,
Then it helps you get to me if you have any questions on this. I'm gonna say that this is new, that, Sherry redid all the questions, she redid all the stuff, so we might have missed something, or we might need to change something.
sure.
And hopefully we captured everything, but I think there's already a couple things like, we don't have all our settings or whatever. Just send that to me and I'll touch base with her, and let's just put this form as, work in progress.
Right.
We'll go after the first collection if we collected everything we need to collect and if we got all the right options.
Right. The easiest way to find help with kindergarten is if you just go to the DPI webpage and type kindergarten in the search. I believe most of the pages that pop up will have a notification at the bottom that says, if you have questions about this content. Oh, I'm such a liar today. Why can't I find the right pages? They normally say, if you have questions about this contact, please email so-and-so, and it's Sherry Kimball, SHERRY KIMBALL. Sherry Kimball was the subject matter expert that I worked with greatly when doing anything kindergarten related on any of my web pages. So she's very friendly, very knowledgeable. It's not on this page that I found again, but it is out there. Yes. All right. Give us your feedback. Thank you for attending. Enjoy the afternoon of the last day of the conference. Thank you so much.